Aussie MMA coach. Renato Subotic's trip to America goes horribly wrong as he ends up in jail and deported after arriving in US. Imagine stepping off a plane, ready to conquer the world with your fists and your fame, only to find yourself handcuffed, stripped bare, and tossed into a federal prison cell with gangbangers and thieves, all over a visa glitch. That's the jaw-dropping nightmare that Aussie MMA coach Renato Subotic, the mastermind behind Australia's fiercest fighters, just lived through. This isn't some gritty Hollywood script. It's the real-life scandal that's got the combat sports world buzzing and Subotic's fans clutching their pearls. How did a celebrated coach go from seminar star to deported jailbird in less than 24 hours? Grab your popcorn, because this tale is wilder than a cage match gone rogue. Renato Subotic isn't just any coach. He's the head honcho of the Australian MMA national team, a 33-year-old titan who's trained UFC champs and Bellator beasts. With his chiseled jaw and steely gaze, he's the kind of guy you'd expect to see barking orders in the octagon, not begging for his blanket in a prison block. Sources say he jetted off to the US last week, brimming with excitement for a sold-out seminar that had fans and fighters alike clamoring to soak up his wisdom. He was on top of the world, whispers one insider from his Sydney gym. This was his big American breakthrough, until it all went to hell. Picture this. Subotic lands in the States, probably rocking his signature black tracksuit, envisioning packed rooms of eager students hanging on his every word. But before he can even grab his luggage, U.S. immigration officials swoop in like vultures. They pulled him aside at the border, says a close pal who's been texting him nonstop since the drama unfolded. He thought it was just routine. Give him a smile, explain the seminar, and he'd be on his way. Nope, they hauled him into some creepy little room and started grilling him like he was smuggling state secrets. For 3 agonizing hours, Subotic sat there, sweat beading on his forehead, as officers peppered him with questions. The guy interviewing him was out for blood. Subotic later spilled on Instagram, where he's been dishing all the dirty details to his 50K followers. I told them everything, my seminar dates, my hotel, even what I had for breakfast. But they acted like I was hiding something. Word on the street, or rather the X-posts flying around, is that the snag was a tiny visa hiccup, something about a missing detail in his paperwork. A clerical error? In Trump's America, that's enough to turn you from VIP to inmate faster than you can say rear naked choke. And then, the bombshell. They said there was a mistake with my visa and I was going to jail till they figured it out, Subotic wrote, his words dripping with disbelief. No explanation, no phone call, nothing. They slapped cuffs on me and shoved me in a car. Fans are losing their minds over this twist. How does a guy who spent his life dodging punches end up defenseless against bureaucracy? It's insane, one ex-user ranted. Trump's border goons are out of control. This is an MMA coach, not El Chapo. Next stop, federal prison. Not some cushy holding cell, mind you, but a full-on bars and brawls lockup, rumored to be the Honolulu Federal Detention Center, though Subotic's keeping that detail close to the chest. They stripped me down, took my clothes, and handed me jail rags, he confessed in his tell-all post. Fingerprints, mugshots, the works, like I was some hardened criminal. The image of Subotic, all 6 feet of muscle, shuffling into a cell block in ill-fitting prison garb, is the kind of gossip gold that keeps tongues wagging. I bet he still looked badass, giggles a fan on Threads. But damn, that's humiliating. Inside, it was pure chaos. Think Orange is the New Black meets Fight Club. Subotic paints a vivid picture. Gang fights breaking out, guys screaming over the television remote. Total madness. He barely had time to drop his stuff before trouble found him. I went to grab some food, and 4 dudes started smashing this guy's head into a fence, he recounted. I just took an apple and bolted back to my cell. But the drama didn't stop there. 2 inmates, Subotic calls them Mexican guys, though the rumor mill's still churning on that, tried to swipe his blanket and sheet. I said, "That's mine," and one of them goes, "What you gonna do about it?" he wrote. "We had a fight. I got my stuff back." Hold up. Did an MMA coach just throw down in a prison cell? Oh, he totally did, claims a source who's been glued to Subotic's updates. Those guys picked the wrong dude to mess with. Renato's not some pushover. He's got hands like sledgehammers. The scuffle drew a crowd, with prisoners peering out to see the Aussie newcomer take on the locals. The other guy ran off screaming, Subotic added, and the guards didn't even blink. His cellmate, one of the blanket bandits, backed off after that, but Subotic says he didn't sleep a wink. I met some Romanian guys next door who warned me, "Watch out, they're in a gang. They'll come for you later." I just sat there trying to figure out who was who. Meanwhile, back in Australia, his team was in a panic. "We had no idea where he was," admits a gym buddy. One minute he's texting about the flight, the next he's gone dark. "We thought he'd been kidnapped or something." Word trickled out via X, where fans started piecing together the saga from Subotic's cryptic post. "He's in jail?" one tweeted, alongside a shocked face emoji. "This is some next-level injustice." Another speculated, "Bet he was on a tourist visa instead of a work one. Trump's cronies love nailing people for that." After 24 hours of this hellscape, the ordeal took its final twist. "They dragged me back to the airport, kept me in another room with no info," Subotic revealed. "Then they said I was being deported." As he was marched to the plane, still in cuffs, an officer dropped a bombshell apology. "I'm sorry this happened. They messed up big. It shouldn't have gone this way." Cue the collective gasp from his followers. Was this a rare crack in the immigration machine's armor? Or just a pity line to shoo him off US soil? Now back down under, Subotic's licking his wounds and plotting his next move. "I'm talking to lawyers," he declared. "Something's gotta be done about how they treated me." The MMA community's rallying behind him, with big names like Merab Dvalishvili, who's trained with Subotic, reportedly reaching out in solidarity. "Renato's a legend," says a fellow coach. "This could have broken anyone, but he's already back in the gym, tougher than ever." Fans, though, are still reeling. "He apologized to us for missing the seminar," one posted on Instagram. "But we're the ones who should be sorry. This is outrageous." The gossip's only heating up. Was this a visa snafu gone wild? Or did Subotic's high profile make him a target in Trump's immigration crackdown? Posts on X suggest the latter, with users linking it to the Prez's recent moves to axe legal status for 500,000 immigrants. Renato's just the tip of the iceberg, one warns. Tourists are getting locked up left and right. Others aren't buying the full story. Sounds embellished. A skeptic snipes. Federal prison for a visa mix-up? More like an ice-holding pin with a flair for drama. Whatever the truth, Subotic's turned his nightmare into a rallying cry. "It's unreal how fast they can take your freedom," he mused, all over a missing detail. He's got the scars, figurative ones, at least, and a tale that'll be whispered in gym locker rooms for years. Will he sue? Will he ever step foot in the US again? The rumor mill's spinning, and Subotic's keeping us guessing. One thing's for sure, this Aussie fighter's latest battle wasn't in the cage. It was against a system that pinned him down harder than any opponent ever could.